Yes, you can hear me. Good, good, good. So, welcome everyone for tonight.
Yes, you can hear me.
Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Well, I just happened to put a speaker on at the same
Sorry
time.
about that.
Well, I just happened to put a speaker
Um,
on.
Sorry about that.
Well, I just happened to put a speaker on.
Sorry about that.
Well, I just. Okay, that was an NG right there. Not good. Anyways, so everyone knows it's been like kind of like a hectic type of news within Disney right now. As you know, Disney recently just like canceled um Jimmy Kimmel Live due to his his statement about like the political speaker Charlie Kirk's assassination and so forth. So now he's canceled by Disney and the Nexstar and then due to the FCC like pressuring both sides, Bob Iger just had to let Jimmy Kimmel go and so forth. And like it just happens unfortunately. But now just recently, Jimmy Kimmel and Bob Iger and Disney are in talks of ABC is like trying to discuss how to not fully cancel the show, but also try to bring Jimmy Kimmel back. But the way I see it is like the damage is a little bit done right there. You it kind of shows that this whole FCC thing is like has become like extremely like political and like the freedom of speech kind of disappeared among us. So I'm a little bit disappointed with the way it's going. But yeah, I just hope that this won't continue anymore. I hope Disney will find a better ways to fix this issue. As you know, a lot of people, like the Democratic Party and like the people who have been like a big Disney fan and on the left side, they didn't like the idea of Jimmy Kimmel being fired. It was more rather Jimmy Kimmel. It's not really like the part that they're upset that Jimmy Kimmel got fired. It's just rather that like the company just kind of like canceled him and then removed the show due to political reasons. And that was the thing. Like I understand that Jimmy Kimmel's live's rating has been like dropping down significantly, and ever since his scandal with him verbally abusing his employees, there were like a lot of rumors right there, and that was like the point where people started like stop watching his show and so forth. I personally am not, like the only time that I actually watched Jimmy Kimmel Live was really because like him and Matt Damon collaboration. That was like usually the only time that I actually like sit down and watch and laugh about it, and because like they're duo feud, they're like actually fun to watch, and sometimes I do watch because of Guillermo, but that's really it. Aside from that, I don't. It's not that I don't find Jimmy Kimmel not funny. It's just more like it's like I don't really watch late shows or nighttime shows as much. It's just not my kind of thing. Maybe I do like if I actually had to choose which nighttime show host that I really like, and that was usually Conan O'Brien. And as you know, his show is no longer there anymore, and he's now more of like a uh YouTuber is how I would say, like more of a podcaster now. Um, Oddly enough, I have to actually talk about this because ever since this announcement of this Disney can't canceling Jimmy Kimmel, somebody unexpected actually showed up um on X Twitter today, and that was none other than Um, Mi- Michael Eisner, and that is alone itself is already like surprising. So let's read this. Um, let's see. Oops. Where has all the leadership gone? If not university presidents, law firm managing partners, and corporate chief executives standing up against bullies, who then will step up for the First Amendment? The quote suspending indefinitely of Jimmy Kimmel immediately after the chairman of the FCC's aggressive yet hollow threatening of the Disney company is yet another example of out of control intimidation. Maybe the company's yet another example out of control. So maybe the Constitution should have said Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or the press except in one's political or financial self-interest. By the way, for the record, this ex-CEO finds Jimmy Kimmel very talented and funny. I mean, you know what it is? Like, I'm pretty sure Bob Iger finds Jimmy Kimmel funny too, and that is probably why you know Jimmy Kimmel lasted this long. Uh, Otherwise, if he was that really like unfunny to a certain audience right there, he probably would have been fired a way long time ago, like around the time when Ellen DeGeneres got canceled. And like they're really good friends. Jimmy Kimmel, Michael Eisner, and Bob Iger, they're all friends. And you have to understand, Michael Eisner and Bob Iger, like during the time when Bob Iger was actually this like in charge of ABC, they're the ones who brought in Jimmy Kimmel from, you know, uh what is it, like from the Comedy Central show to over to make his own like host show. And they've been kept him for a very long time. As far as I know, at least like maybe like about 20 years or so, just around there. And like I've known Jimmy Kimmel like back in like when he was like a little bit like tubby guy in the Comedy Central at the time. And he like the only thing I kind of remember his show was like him like presenting girls on the jumping on the trampoline at the end of the show all the time, and that's all I remember. But like this guy like that's why like I don't exactly find 100% Jimmy Kimmel funny, but at the same time like he's very passionate about what he does with the with the show, so I kind of understand that. And especially with Matt Damon and being involved made things a lot funny, so that's why I'm like kind of upset that the show kind of got canceled, because that means that I don't get to watch like both of them like picking fights with each other anymore. Yeah, but it's really interesting because Mike Eisner has been very inactive from Twitter for a very long time, and he just decided to like start like talking about like he decided to just like speak out of his mind and saying, hey, like I've been very quiet about this, but you guys decided to cancel this person for what reason? Like, why are you canceling because of FCC? And that is the reason why he's very upset about it. He's like, oh, like why do I have to be involved in this? Why are you making me involved in this like drama? And that is completely reasonable. Anyways, um, so we're gonna talk about the next part because I don't want to get too political about this. Because at the end of the day, like I do understand that some people don't like it, but at the same time, I know those people who've been always saying like I miss Michael Eisner when he was the CEO. He was a great CEO. Bob Iger ruined this company, and like Bob Iger turned this company into woke. Eisner would have not done that. And then all of a sudden, when Michael Eisner posted this, like the whole audience just like change, flip the script, and like they're like the right wingers are like saying, "Oh, like I didn't think that you would say this kind of thing, Michael. I thought you were on our side." Like, why would you say this? What you guys don't understand is that Michael Eisner has always been a left wing Democratic voter. I've always known this. Even like I've read it like many times before I joined in the this Twitter community, like in Facebook and then like in this board, people have said Michael Eisner has always been pro democratic supporter even during Obama's time. And it is kind of true because Obama and Michael Eisner are actually pretty tight, and that was the reason why Michelle Obama, like, happened like a couple of guests at the time, like as far as I remember. And Michael Eisner always, like, invited that, Obama's family. So like, I don't understand why these, like, right winger people thought Michael Eisner would all like somehow, you know open his arms to them and say like, hey guys, listen, I'm on your side. I will, I was the best CEO, like the way you wanted it. I like no, and I think this has to do with like a little bit of like a Splash Mountain, a little bit things going on in the rivers of America. But if Michael Eisner was actually still CEO to this day, Michael Eisner will straight up tell you that he will change Splash Mountain into Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and then also remove Rivers of America, and then also, attain the rights of Star Wars and Marvel Cinematic Universe. He will still do all of this, mainly because he is all, he and Bob Iger have almost have the same type of opinions. In this case, he is calling a Bob Iger, obviously, but they because they both have same opinions. That is a reason why Michael Eisner left his legacy to Bob Iger, because he knew that Bob Iger was gonna, like, do like everything that needed to be done within the company. Otherwise, he would have said, "Oh, I don't like the idea of having Bob Iger as my next, CEO, like as an heir." Like there's like something different opinion about him. No, that's not true. They both were very tight. Like, I know that some people have said that on social media, say, "Oh, they never got along. They always had disagreements." That's not how it works right there. The CEO needs to be in full confidence that the next person in there is going to take over the position. I know some of you will say like, well, Bob Iger like kind of like used Bob Chapek as a CEO. I'm pretty sure like any possibility, anything is possible. Obviously, like Bob Chapek and Bob Iger probably, like, Bob Iger probably like used Chapek to become like a, puppet CEO puppet at the time. But at the same time, nobody knows what his actual motives were. He probably actually thought that Bob Chapek might actually do well as a CEO, but somehow it didn't go the way he wanted it. Nobody knows that. You can't really just like kind of judge it by like, rumors and like speculations. But the way I see is Michael Eisner has always been on, the left side, and has always been kind of like pro new development of the park. Like Michael Eisner at the time, during his time as a CEO, like all the designs of the park at the time were good, were what people were like seeking, and that was like the trend of the design at that time. But if he were still the CEO right now, his design perspectives would change to cater to the different type of audience, and then the different type of like an, construction and design trend that is going on right now. So whatever you see on Epcot right now, and whatever you see on Magic Kingdom, and then like Disney's Animal Kingdom, or like, Disneyland Forward, or and so forth, it would still be part of Michael Eisner's vision, just like the Bob Iger's vision of like improving and changing the park and changing the design of the hotels and so forth. And a lot of people don't seem to get that grasp. Like the CEOs not are not your like, your friends. The CEOs are shareholders and corporates friends. They're not customers and fans friends. They will do whatever the shareholders want them to do. And in this case, Nexstar is currently the one who's in play, and that's how the Jimmy Kimmel was involved of getting fired. Next Star says that they're not involved in it whatsoever, and saying blame kind of blame like passive aggressively blaming, FCC involved in us. It is technically the chairman of FCC and the right wingers' fault for getting this making this happen. And Michael Eisner clearly says, for freedom of speech is very important, and that is the reason why. Now, I am done with talking about this because, like I said, I don't want to get too deep on this because it will eventually become another type of political mess. But you have to understand Michael Eisner's perspective that he is right, and then that he has always been like the opposite side of what certain grifter type of groups are like ranting about. Sorry to bust your balls. So now let's go to the next slide. So this is a actual like Grand Floridian resort. Let me just like kind of like look at the phone right now because obviously like it's you have to understand Grand Floridian resort is like what you would yeah, this is the exactly so courtesy of Mike member Mike Rhoda, who shared the photos of new reconstructed Grand Floridian Resort. Now, a lot of people have actually like kind of had a little doubt, had a lot of assumptions that this whole area was going to be modernized and going to look plain and dull and uncreative is how like exactly what they said. And they were worried, everyone was worried that it was going to look like every other like hotel such as Hilton. And this is one of the examples that people have ranted on because of the island tower. At the time, Island Tower was like what? Island Tower was like too modernized, is how people have said. My perspective is that I don't have any issue with the Island Tower, but people were actually like complaining that if Island Tower was too like modernized and too like it's just like it's just I don't know like why would you call it a modernized like yeah, it's just maybe it is a kind of technically it is modernized but it's not same as Hilton or Marriott hotel. That's kind of reaching it in my personal opinion. Like you have to understand like some of these hotels are really outdated. They're extremely dated. This is like it's like 1980s dated or even like 1990s dated or even like 2000s dated, but no, none of the hotels are actually like 2016 after like modernized refurbishment. And I have said this like a few times before, like when I was in Disney Animal Kingdom Lodge, all of those like furnishings were still from the back in like 20 years ago, and I'm like still walking around with barefoot on a carpet on top of a carpet that hasn't been replaced for more than 20 years, and God knows I don't even know like what I'm stepping on. I feel like I sometimes have like that anxiety that I'm like stepping on top of like a kid's drool or a kid's poop or kid's piss, or maybe like somebody like bringing a dog in and then the dog happens to just like pay all like some random place or whatever like the fecal matter or possibly like your some somebody had like a erotic like love at the like the bed, and then somehow they were getting like some kind of like adult things going on the carpet as well too. So I had all type of thinking, and then possibly maybe the bed bugs or like some kind of like bugs might be crawling around the bed. And mind you, there was like a Facebook post of complaint, somebody posting a photo of like a German cockroach crawling around the carpet in the what is it, the Bay Lake Tower, I think, and that kind of like went out of control, and that was like before they changed the flooring at the time, and then I also saw another like a roach hanging out in the Disney Animal Kingdom Jambo House at the time too. So like you kind of clearly understand where I'm getting at. These areas need to be refurbished, and Grand Floridian is one of them. And I'm just happy that they finally got the change that you know that needed to be done, and the change that they got is so beautiful. I just can't like understand. If you don't like this, I don't know what to tell you. And I know some people say that looks like way too like a cruise or something like that. Why does it matter? Why does it matter that it looks like a cruise? Some of the cruises are actually luxurious and they look fabulous. They're breathtaking. Like if you look at Disney cruises right now, like somewhere from like a Dream or Wish or Treasure or Fantasy or whatever it is, like that grand stairs like walking down already looks majestic and fabulous. And that's the you should not be complaining about it. You should rather say, I love the way that they kind of imitated it. Like it's you can't say no to this. And if you look at it right now, right around here, the coloring of beige, like a little bit of like a cyanic blue, orange, and then the dark like a cyan type of like a bluish kind of color, they match very well. Like they match very well. Uh, and then the like with the white, let's say white pole right around here, and then like more beige eggshell type of like paint right around there. And then the wood coloring, as you can see, they match very well. And then when you look at around right here, well, with the tree paintings and everything, you can't say no to that. Like that is exactly how people wanted the design from Grand Floridian Resort. If I had to complain about like which resort actually has like the less theme into it, I always said Grand Floridian Resort seems to have like the least desirable design of the resort. And but at the same time, it's like the most expensive and demanding resort. A spa, and then it has like a really nice pool outside, and then it has like really good like three restaurants and like one 5-star restaurant that's like that costs like $500 per person or something like that. And oh, not to mention, there's like a wedding booth right next door. So another thing, and it's close to Magic Kingdom. So there is nothing that goes wrong about this resort. It's just the design of the exterior that just gets me. But also keep in mind this resort is also like the most infamous resort at the time when Princess Diana always chose her specific room and a specific suite. And this resort was what was famous for. Prince Harry, Princess Diana, and her family were like visiting Walt Disney World a lot. This was a resort at the time they were choosing, and at that time it was like the most expensive resort to book, anyways. Let me just drink a little bit. My nose throat is a little bit dry, so. So we're gonna get to the next photo. Now if you look at like the carpets, the design of the carpet, it's already they nailed it so well. Flowers, and in the center of that image, GF. No, it's not girlfriend. GF. Grand Floridian. And somebody that I like, someone that I know actually mentioned that Grand Floridian, um, like colorings, and then the Florida color theme of this like it matches so well. Because that person, apparently that person seems to live in Florida, and he told me like that the color matches very well for Florida. And I'm kind of glad that like if that's the case, then I am very satisfied and happy with it. And then on the right side of the picture, as you know, like that the bar stand right there, formerly, I guess that used to be where the gingerbread house like was always held at during Christmas. And then like with this bar being added, it brought some out like um viral outrage of people like saying that like magic is gone, like and that's not they're trying to make this like world Walt Disney World into Walt Drunk World or something like that, and that and how ridiculous does that sound? But this photo is actually on the courtesy of Jeremiah Good, Laughing Plays. Obviously, the left photo was actually, the courtesy of Mike Rhoda and Scott Gustin again. Well, technically, Mike Rhoda is the one who provided a photo, and Scott Gustin is the one who like helped, repost and publish it publicly. Now, as you can see on the left photo is a full painting of Grand Floridian Resort that they just added for the renovation. And when you walk upstairs, you can see that painting right there. I'm kind of glad that this is not some AI bullshit, and that is actually painted and drawn by somebody right there. And while I love the painting of this, it's just like it's so nice. It's kind of fun. It's kind of funny, ironic that they didn't put the fence around the beach right there, like where they completely gated off. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. By next year, it's going to be like 10th anniversary of that, like the kid who tragically died from the Seven Lagoon lake for putting his foot into the water and getting eaten by alligator. God rest his soul, and prayers to the family. I'm pretty sure they probably never went back to Disney World ever again or something like that. It's just tragic. Like my heart, like every time I think about it, like my heart breaks down because like as a like somebody like who is like very fond of like family and everything. I can't imagine like about like losing, especially when I'm a Disney fan and everything. I go to the park all the time. I can't imagine myself if seeing a child like just disappearing into the lake, and then like w- witnessing that you know my child is dead kind of thing right there. I just can't imagine that, especially at a park that I always visit once every year or like twice every year. Like if I happen to live in Florida, and then I have an annual pass to visit every time, and it just happens that like if my child gets like eaten or something like that, I just can't imagine it. Yeah, so well, I'm kind of like laughing ironically. I'm not like, like laughing as like a joke of like, laughing about the like the incident. It's more of like it's just too tragic for me to like think that this is like a type of thing that you got to, remember. And like this whole painting is just like it's so beautiful, but at the same time, you kind of ask yourself, what if they never really had a like that uh what if they never gated that whole area, and then what if the alligator never really existed over there and there's actual beach out there? That's all that imagination is like kind of like really like contradicting right there. So now my next oh well I think there was like, yeah, is it like that? Yeah, okay. Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, so my good friend Drew Smith, aka the Drew Disney Dude on X and YouTube, please be sure to follow him and subscribe to him. Um I always say that Drew and Scott are like the best source liable source. And then also Jack at the Disney newscast, like they are actually like I will always vouch for them. And then Boardwalk Times, Zach, another Zach, there's Jack and then Zach. So Zach of Boardwalk Times, I also like highly recommend them as well too. So like any of those people always have some kind of insider or some kind of like a news that always pop out. I highly recommend them. So if if you ever see them, like to say hi. They are very friendly. They don't bite, and I always enjoy talking with them. Um, The only thing that I get jealous of Drew is like that he's actually taller than me, and I just can't let that go. I'm five, I'm 5'10", man. Like I just can't let that go. Like when I first met him, he like he's like, oh hey, you're Lucas. Nice to meet you. No, it didn't even start there. Hold on a second. Now like um so D23 Expo. Like I still remember. I'm like, and I'm like, I said, "Hey, you're Drew. Nice to meet you." And he's like, hey, who are you again?" And I'm like, "Really? We kind of like we've interacted a few times." And about at the same time, I knew that I was like, it was my first time meeting him, so I'm like, I just kind of joking at it, but and he's like, "Oh, right, yeah, yeah." Sorry, I'm not. He kind of, but I was like, I was screwing with it, but um, that I'm pretty sure for a guy like him who always like meets a lot of people all across the parks and expos, I can't blame him for like not recognizing everyone. But this guy, like I love him, like for a lot of things. He like he just like just so well with the Tiana's Bio Adventure update, and he just like kept posting and posting and posting, and he got so because he's reward this all rewarding for him, and I'm happy that he gets like invited to like the Disney ambassador thing and so forth. So he is meeting these two new ambassadors, and he will introduce you. This is the video that he posted on the X as well as a YouTube. So when you get a chance, if you want to, watch it again, you can do so. I'm gonna click this link right now. Okay, hold on a second. So sound is not theirs, so I will. Let's see. You gotta forgive me, man. Like I just can't. I'm still like new to all like switching audios and everything. So let's see. Oh, here we go. All right.
Hello, everyone. We are here at EPCOT. We got new ambassadors, Kylie and Felicia. They literally just found out that they're the next ambassadors for the next 2 years. And as all you guys know, I always post about upcoming projects. So for 2026, 2027, we have so many things coming up. Simple question: what are you guys most looking forward to in your trip?
So many things. I think I'm most excited about rock and roller coasters.
Yeah.
Rock and roller coasters is one of my favorite attractions anyway, and now we get a bucket on the way. It's going to be so incredible. I'm so excited.
What about you?
I am really excited about the updates to Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
I'm a Walt Disney girl on tradition, and I'm so excited to see the Walt Disney animatronic coming to life at Carousel of Progress.
All right, so as these things open, we'll be here covering it up for all you guys.
Okay, yeah, so congratulations for both of them. I'm very happy to see more ambassador representing Walt Disney World. So I've actually met like several ambassadors from different Disney parks, like from Shanghai, Japan, and D23 Expo. They were very kind to me, and they when I said that I wanted to take photo with them, like I'm not gonna lie, like the Disney D23 Expo, like the couple like Japanese and like Chinese and also French ambassadors, like just like kind of like quickly just like gather around. And when I said that, can I take photo? They're right behind me right away. I'm like, whoa, that's fast. So they're very friendly, and they're very passionate about the parks and the rides, and um not to mention like the animations and like TV shows and so forth. It's just great. Yeah, but I'm happy that Drew got to meet them and then interview them, which is amazing. Maybe one day I'll get to do so. Let's just hope so. All right, so big Muppets fans, yeah, the Muppets. If you are not aware, big, the Muppets people, like the former creator of, This Is the End, as well as anything that like the Seth Rogen usually like is main casted in. Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen are going to create new Muppet show. And for those who are not aware of Evan Goldberg, he's actually kind of he's in responsible for a lot of like comedy films such as Superbad, This Is the End, The Interview, Pineapple Express, Sausage Party, The Neighbors, and so forth. He always worked with Seth Rogen all the time, and formerly also what's his name? You know, uh, what was his name? I forgot. He also collaborated uh with what is it? Jonah Hill, and then James Franco. I forgot. James Franco is the one that he like all three of them were always involved in the movie, and then Jonah Hill was also involved. So they're technically four people, right? And the Danny McBride is also like one of their group of friends. In this case, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are the only ones directing this thing, and I'm very excited for it. You know what it is. Like I'm pretty sure they will really do well, and they will probably make the story. Really good that Jim Henson will be proud of it. Um, Without a doubt, it was supposed to come out around like Disney Plus 2026. So look forward to that. And also Sabrina Carpenter is going to be the guest speaker, or like a guest in the show. So look for that as well too. My biggest concern is that every time when Disney Plus does something, they always like kind of like end it with like 8 episodes, and then like just end the whole season like that. I just kind of wish that they do a little bit more than eight episodes this time, and then or prolong it so that it can be more entertaining for people to watch. Um, and I really hope that it's not 30 minutes and then just like eight episodes and end the season. I don't want any of that. Disney, please stop doing that. Like I get really annoyed with it. Like there's like 30 minutes of show, and then 10 to 15 minutes of the credits with like all the people from all over nation, with like whoever subtitled and whoever did the audio. I don't need to see all that. Like why are you making me think that it's actually a 45-minute show, but when it's only 30 minutes? So please don't do that. I like it just makes no sense to me. Okay, so this is a very controversial time to talk, because I'm not gonna like go further too much about it. As you know, Epic Universe actually had Stardust Racers closed down for 2 days right now, because they had a big incident where a person actually died due to a blunt trauma force on the roller coaster. I kind of like wanted to talk about this because it is a tragic situation, and you have to understand that like when it comes into roller coasters, there will always be kind of a risk right there. Uh, like I know a lot of people are gonna say like, oh, like this, they should they should have known. This is like the roller coasters are supposed to be safe. So the victim is Kevin Rodriguez Zavala. He like apparently it turns out that he's actually like now some people are saying that he's actually like handicapped. And it shouldn't have been on the ride or something like that. Like, but at the end of the day, let's really talk about this, because it doesn't matter if he's handicapped. It doesn't matter if he's like if the ride is supposed to be safe. The answer is, at the end of the day, is the importance is this: the person passed away. It's tragedy. And I know has been like heated conversation. They don't want to speculate on a lot of things. It doesn't matter. Like the past person passed away. We should mourn for the family, and we should show some respect. I know some people have been like kind of like recording their videos. They say, "Oh, like when I tried writing this, like nothing like this happened," kind of thing. Or somebody talked about like the details of the incident, like nobody wants to hear any of that. We want to hear, like, you have to give some silence of respect. And when the right comes back up, you can post your recorded video. I have video, I've thought about doing, like bringing up the video too, but from my TikTok, but I decided not to because I do feel that it's not really a good timing to do so, and I think it's kind of disrespectful for the family who already lost their family. So my condolences for the family who lost their beloved one. It, like I can't imagine of what it feels like, and I but as of right now, I won't go further because I think it's not something that should be talked about more, and we'll go on from that. Now we're gonna talk about the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays. So, as you know, candlelight processional. I don't know too much about it. I'll be honest with you. I don't know too much about it, only because I never did this. I never witnessed this. A lot of people who usually go here during the November to December time, they have told me that it's a very good festival that I should try going there, but also at the same time I can't go there. It's the resorts are all booked, and I kind of wish I wanted, I actually lived over there to visit, frequently to witness all this. I'm like frustrated because at the same time, like I don't get to see this all the time, and I know a lot of families who get a chance to go, to, Disney World or like Florida, like 10 times per year or something like that. Like my God, like I can't imagine like how it feels like. I'm pretty sure it's very exciting. As you know, the website already has like the entertainment, holiday kitchen, dining packages, and get park tickets. So like when you get a chance to take a look at it, um, they have Jennifer Garner as a new guest, Henry Winkler, Lauren Daigle, Joe Smallbone, Brie Larson, and Cheryl Lee Ralph. Now, I am very happy to see Ralph Macchio. He's my fellow Long Islander, and also Karate Kid. As you know, like I've yet to make reviews about Cobra Kai entire series and from the first season through like the final season. And I gotta tell you, like William Zabka and Ralph Macchio just did so well. I can't I love the whole show, and him returning as like Daniel LaRusso was already exciting for me, like for after like the years of the journey with him on that TV show. So I've always wanted to meet him. I it's just kind of disappointing that I don't get to see him again this year, and he will be there during the festival. I'll just like sit down and uh, do a golf clap, I guess, for people who are there. Happy for you, proud of you. Not really happy for you. That's just how it is. Um, but I hope everyone, whoever's going, I hope you guys have fun. That's all I can say. Like, I'll be just like jealous right across like from like hundreds of miles away. Now, courtesy of Block Mickey of this photo, and then posting this information a little bit. So, for those people who do not, who are not who are fans of Disney Cruise, I've never been there, but this is actually a like amazing deal that's going on right now. So, from September 25th, 2025 to September what is it, October 17th, 2025 through December 19th, 2025, all the bookings as of right now for like you know from inside Ocean View or Veranda right now at the guaranteed stateroom with restrictions category, they're getting 40% off, like Your family members are getting 40% off, or you alone are getting a 40% off. So when I checked the price, like the $1,400 is for 4 nights or 5 days, or even like like the 7 days or something like that for 2,000 or something. I think that's very reasonable. I think that's a really reasonable thing. And it just you probably might actually enjoy your time right there. This deal is good for 1 or 2 guests. You can't beat this deal. The 40% off, that's crazy. Like if you kind of like put with the third guest and the fourth guest and the fifth guest, I think that might be a little bit complicated because that 40% off is not really 40% off. Because if you because they have another deal right now that's the 50% off for the third guest and the fourth guest. So like so they don't seem to stack up with each other, but you have to choose either deals. And then the 50% off for the third guest and the fourth guest turns out that they like the the like when I checked the price is the 50% off for the third and so forth guest is actually a better deal for that type of family versus like for a single rider or the couple riders. So like I said, this for the single rider or couple riders is you're gonna understand that this is a better deal for 1 or 2 guests. But when it comes to the 3 to 4 to 5 guests, you'll probably prefer the 50% off for the anything after third guest. That's just how I view it. And this is a very good opportunity of going on a cruise. I never been there, so I feel like so for those people who are like, if you're probably assuming that I'm like a salesperson or like a cruise show. I'm not a cruise show. I just think that it's a good deal. So I never been on a cruise, so you can't really blame me for this. But I highly recommend you going there. Okay. Now I didn't actually include this, but I will. Let's see, add something new because I did say that I wanted to talk about uh one of the creator thought about changing World Pavilion because they feel that it's not popular anymore. And I'm asking myself, what could be so not popular that like, they want to change the pavilion so much? So in this case, I will probably bring it up because I think it is worth talking about. I'm gonna do an oil brush. So this person said, "More, no, I don't want to pen tool. What is this? Okay, no, not more. Brush. Oh, oil brush. There we go. Okay, so the creator wanted Morocco to be removed and Canada to be removed, and then Outpost to be removed. Realistically speaking, um, Outpost is actually pretty small than the image of the map is like showing. And then Canada, I don't know where that person is getting the idea that Canada should be removed, but Canada is actually still one of the most popular pavilion in EPCOT, and that is because Le Chatelier Steakhouse is just that popular. And then the building itself, the decoration and everything is just too good. Like, why would you want to change that? People always hang around there and watch the show too. Like they, I don't think that's O'Cannon anymore. But as far as I'm concerned, something else. What is it called now? Epcot Canada now, or is it something else now? Oh, Circle 3 Canada Pavilion. It's Epcot Canada, right? It's now Canada Far and Wide. Is with the Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levi. talking about the new Canada and stuff. I never got a chance to take a look at it, but that's just what it is. I miss the the old Canada because you know it used to have what was his that comedian I forgot. Martin Short was the one who was involved on that, and I'm pretty sure there was another person before, but as far as I remember, Martin Short was the one responsible for that. Yeah, so that show got canceled and then changed around 2019. The one that I didn't see was a Canada Far and Wide was a show, and yeah, and I kind of want to take a look at it in the future. It's because they completely changed it to more of a like a third circle 360 vision film attraction, like, and I still have not been able to watch that. So like, hope that becomes a thing. And then as for Morocco, I can kind of understand Morocco's situation because, as you know, restaurant Marrakesh kind of like disappeared into the faces of the earth or something like that, and restaurant Marrakesh kind of like just not even open. Like the whole like the company decided to just abandon it. Like, and then keep in mind, restaurant Marrakesh is not actually hosted by Disney. It was hosted by a different company, and they just completely just like, I don't want to be involved in it, and just like removed it, just disappear. And that was like kind of like bizarre enough for me. The last time I was there was like during the last week of August, a couple weeks ago, and then they told me that it was supposed to be annual pass lounge. It wasn't the case. It was actually Blue Cross Blue Shield, the company Anthem of Florida, that was hosting the lounge, and I assumed that the lounge would at least have like a soda or juice or whatever. They didn't even have that. They didn't even have a coffee with milk or like a tea with sugar. It was just like bland, like a half cold water. That was like that was not even cold. And then like what is it? The tea was like just like minty with no flavor to it. I was very disappointed, but it was like a place to sit down and get the AC and to relax. That was the only reason that lounge existed at the time. Aside from that, Tangerine Cafe, that is still kind of popular in ways, and but I understand that this area is like just not popular as it used to be anymore. And a lot of people have complained that the water fountain at the Morocco area with the like the changes of tiles and everything. When I looked at it, it doesn't. When I looked at it in person, I just realized that it doesn't really look that uh impressive either. I don't know why they did that, but I feel like the whole area has started to become like a big miss as time passes by. I don't want to see Morocco go, but if they can't get it together, I guess the only way is that like changing it into something else. And a lot of people kind of like want it as like Brazil or Greece or South Korea. And I've been kind of like a bit advocate of South Korea for a very very long time. And if they can bring Morocco into South, they change it to Morocco to South Korea or something, I'm all for it. So if they do add like Korean barbecue buffet, I think that would be like a busiest reservation ever, um in the very distant future. I've always said I would rather see American Adventure being removed, only because there's already like Liberty Hall at the Magic Kingdom, and then there's another like American Adventure. Like the buildings are technically the same. Like the way I see it, the Hall of Presidents at the Magic Kingdom, and then the American Adventure building, like they have the same type of layout. So my question is like, why do you keep like two America right there? Like, why don't you just keep one? And if they were to remove Liberty Hall, then I guess like American Adventure could keep the Hall of Presidents, and then the whole like the get go of like a design of America, I guess. Otherwise, if they don't, if they want to keep Liberty Hall but want to remove American Adventure, I guess you could add another like country right there. That's the only way that I would see it. And then so the outpost is like one of those things right there. It's a small area, but I think it can be done. I think it can be big into something else. As I mentioned, it could be Greece, Brazil, or Korea. But China is already next to it, so like then again, America and Morocco are kind of like next to Japan, I guess. But in that concept, like if that's if that's the logic, then Germany and Italy are technically like close together, close to each other, and then well, France and United Kingdom are not actually like close to each other, but technically, um, you know, they have like a long history of relations right there. So yeah, uh, it's gonna be interesting only because the American Venture, if they do get change it into South Korea, at least the live show center area can there would be like a K-pop like dance and stuff like that. I'd probably sit down and watch it. I think that would be the only reason why I would like just kind of watch it and so forth. Pardon me. Anyways, so if they were to change into Brazil or South Korea or Greece, I think Greece, if they added Greece or something like that, it would be nice to see Hercules um attraction be implemented, like some kind of like whether it's like a 3D ride or some kind of like doesn't have to be a roller coaster, but something like a attraction that would be exciting. And then as for South Korea, uh, for those who do not know, the new Mickey Mouse show right there. They have a Korea episode. It was let's see, it what it was like. It's called Locked in Love. That was an episode, and then technically, uh, Mickey and Minnie were in South Korea, and then they were going up in the Seoul Tower known as Namsan Tower, which is like a um the Southern Mountain Tower. It's very famous tower, by the way. If you go up there like in person, you go on like a gondola, and then all, in that tower, like area right there with the fence and everything, you'll see like thousands of locks right there where people would put their name and then your name and then your lover's name into that lock, and it's like a kind of like a thing right there, like putting the lock right there will keep your love and relationship forever and ever kind of thing. That's the part right there, and then this episode decided to keep that cultural respect, and then Mickey and Minnie tried it, were doing whatever they can to lock it right there, and then Donald and Daisy also does the same. So like it's kind of interesting because like this, I if the South Korea pavilion is involved in that, I kind of wish that they did something like a attraction related to that tower, but also at the same time, like they'll do like you could probably do like a pretend of a lock right there. I guess like a week lasting lock, and then put it up on like a fake tower or something, and then put a lock on it. I think that would be interesting to do. So the way I see it, South Korea, the Seoul Tower would be one of the most iconic tower at this moment. Otherwise, the king's statue or the Southern Gate would be the Southern Gate of like Joseon Dynasty would be the like a national monument type of building. That's the way I see it. And like I wouldn't really go get too close to um like castle type of building because Japan is already right there with the castle building, and China is already doing the castle building. It just feels too oriental to me, of doing exactly the same thing and copy and paste. I know that some people are saying that like they're the same Asian country, but that's not what I'm talking about here. Because it's not really race. And what I'm talking about is not racist. It's just more of like you want to make it a little bit of a different cultural identity is how I would say it. Some people might like get the wrong idea or get confused that like the structures are a little bit too similar to each other, and they're like, oh, I think I'm in Japan Pavilion. Like there are people out there who are very ignorant and will probably assume the worst right there. That's what I don't want to see. I would rather see something different. Anyways, I kind of want the Luminous Symphony of Us, like, changes something. I rather want them to have a different composer. And maybe, like, that's something that I'll probably discuss in the next live video or something. Like, what kind of composer would I want to see for Illuminations, or the new style of Illuminations that will replace Luminous. The reason I'm saying that I would rather see Luminous being replaced is because my biggest issue about Luminous is when it was this they had way too many cartoon, like the Disney animations theme into this show. It was like because I'm already seeing Fantasmic having the same thing, and then I'm also seeing Happily Ever having the same thing. Like, why do we need to have the same type of like animation songs all the time? It's not like we're like teaching kids how to just sing along. I just want, I feel like since we already have a Fantasmic and since we already have a Happily Ever After, why not just keep it as that way and then just have Epcot have its own original identity of itself, like just have its own song. Luminous does have its own original identity of the song, but my biggest concern is that like during the mid part of that song, like they already have like cartoon introduction, cartoon songs involved in it, and the you just it just feels too similar. I rather want something different. So we'll probably talk about on the next show about that. And what else would I be talking about? As of right now, there's nothing much to talk about besides that. So the next show that I'll probably do is around Sunday, and then around the same time, and then we'll probably discuss about what other composers I would like to see for Epcot, and then I'll probably also talk about like more a little bit we'll talk about Super Mario Galaxy movie as in the future, and then see like what's their next Nintendo Illumination Universal is like thinking about to expand the Mario universe and so forth. Anyways, it has been in about an hour, and I kind of don't want to like prolong this discussion. So thank you for watching, and I do appreciate for those people who have visited and watched my show. Be sure to subscribe, and then we'll talk more about this on Sunday, and then the potential what could mean for uh what I wanted within the Epcot for the song, and then what kind of composer I would probably want to meet the expectations at the level of Illuminations. So we'll talk about a little bit about that, and then we'll also talk about further part of the parks and so forth. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a very good evening. Okay, take care.